Compose yourself, Dan. We're here for episode 15 of the Making It podcast. Welcome back. Hello. If you've enjoyed the latest podcast, let us know. Keep listening. Go on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you find your podcast. We're there. Dan, welcome back. Right. 15 episodes in, and we're here again in person.
Back in the pub.
We're back in the pub, and it is, 15 episodes in. Obviously, we've got some extra episodes as well, so if you want to just talk about the one that you did most recently.
Yeah, so on Friday, there was a guest episode, our second Making It Moments. A lad called Kobe Williams came on. Have you listened to it?
Yeah, it was great.
You like
really,
it, yeah.
Really
he said it himself, it's a good mix of educational, humour, and also emotional at the same sort of time. One of them ones, so I'd really give that a listen. Our guest episodes are always good because having a guest on, they always have something good to say, and he clearly had a lot to say. So go listen to that. But it's good to be back here, Jamie. It feels quite special. The little fairy lights around the room. Yeah. We're back in the pub. It's nice to see you, bro. It's good to be back. So how was your week last week, man? Well, this week it's Sunday. It's the end of the week. How's it been?
It's been pretty good. It's been very busy, to be honest. It's been trying to save up the last bit of money for Australia now, so that I'm having to put in the shifts. I've been painting fences, gardening, working here. Yeah, of course.
Give us a brew.
Oh, yeah. You what?
Give us a brew.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't drink that much tea. I'll be honest with you. I don't drink a lot of tea. Do you drink a lot of tea?
I don't, but if I'm doing a bit of gardening and someone goes, "You want a bit of tea?" I'm not saying no to that.
It's usually the older people you work for as well. But in that time, I was out in the garden, obviously because I'm a gardener, and it was sunny, which was great because we've been over the last month of me being back. We've had everything. We had snow a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't bring my coat. Yeah, it was like a hail.
Oh yeah,
like a hail and a little bit of snow, and I didn't bring my coat. So the other lad was sound. He was in his coat, and he was just I don't know what you're moaning about, and I'm just there so cold. But the thing about this week is it's been sunny. So I'm going to jump in dead quick with the question of the week, by the way. Does the sunshine make you happier?
Yes.
Why?
I think waking up in the morning, what do we do often? What's the weather like? And when it's bright and sunny, it's unbelievable. It's it's already like an instinct, an instant happiness. My mate Adam, he said to me he feels so much better when it's sunny. And it's an interesting concept because if it was always sunny, would it be the same feeling? I don't think so. But when I do see the sun in the morning, it does make me happier, but I don't think to an extreme extent. If I wake up and it's raining, I'm still pretty happy. But if it's sunny, it does make you happier. Let's be honest. I almost don't want to admit it because I want to be happy anyway. But the sun being out does make me happier. What about you?
Well, I think for what we talk about, the correct answer would be more philosophical, wouldn't it? It'd be no, the sun doesn't make me happy. The things that I do in life, or the way I structure it. Yeah. But we know, for me, for sure, I love it. I don't think that when I wake up and it's a rainy day, I'm happy. Because, A, if it's raining too bad, I don't go to work that day. And I'm losing money. And B, the sun is good anyway. You get a tan, you go and chill with your mates. You associate it with things. You associate everything with things. So, the sun, you might think beer garden, summer. You might think coffee with your mates.
Barbecues.
Barbecues.
Come on, that's a big one. We had a barbecue on Monday at the house.
Okay.
And we've got this outdoor space. For the listeners, obviously Jamie's seen it, but I live next door to my mates at uni, and we've got this back door space. It's like a big balcony. We had a barbie there. We had the lights going. It was so good. We were flinging cheese at our mate Alfie's window, which is still there.
I still don't get that part. The barbecue, I was like,
it's because it's that sticky cheese, and then someone threw one,
and
then we all wanted to have a go. Yeah, try hit the window because it actually was harder than you think. But then we found this technique, and then we were going for the higher window. But mate, Barbies. And just being out there and more people being out. That's another one. I think it brings people out. I mean, if only we could have that feeling even when it's not sunny. But
then you can. If you're surrounding yourself with good people. I almost think that if it's raining outside, naturally you look inside. What's around you inside to make you happy? Because instead of looking for external, you go, okay, right, I'm not going to go out there. Because imagine it like two boxes. You're in the first box and you kind of open the little door and you're in the outside box. If you can't find any happiness in that, it's fine. You just close the door and you look around what's around you. So you'll be at work. Who do you enjoy working with? Maybe you're working with people you like. So you go, the rain's there, but I'm working with good people today. Or you remember a plan that you've got today. Or you've got football, or you've got seeing your girlfriend or something like that. That's massive for me. So I do think that even if it isn't sunny, there's still other things that can make you happy.
It's a factor of happiness, but there's other factors you can focus on.
I found that when I was in Australia that I was happy pretty much every day. Like in terms of when I wake up.
You're also on holiday though.
Yeah, I am on holiday, so that obviously makes it like a bit more of an incentive. But then it's like everyone else, you know, when you walk down the beach and everyone's smiling and laughing and having a good time, it's like you want to experience that more. You know what I mean? But then it's also nice for it to be a bit of a treat.
Linking on to something I saw on your Instagram story the other day, boss. And I think when we talk about making it journeys, this is a big one, really.
Yeah.
I saw you put something last night, and Jamie was out last night, so I don't know if he was getting a bit emotional, but small things matter. What made you post that?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. Because, so basically, to add some context, my friend got me on a night out last night, and it was a great night. I had a really good time, you know, quite a few drinks. Feeling a bit hungover today. Just been to my little cousin's 9th birthday party, and we played football and.
So good hungover do.
Yeah, good. Yeah, obviously just what you want to be doing when you're hungover, isn't it? But when I was sitting at the table, I think I just read it and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I feel like when I've had a few beers, I actually do take time to reflect and think deeply about probably stuff I shouldn't really care about. But then some things like that matter, you know, like small things do matter, and you know the sort of things that maybe you take for granted or you know you don't really think about a lot, like that they really matter. They really, really matter. You know, like when I get up in the morning and do I make my bed? That's a small thing in terms of what you do in the day. But that matters, that you go and make your bed, because that is setting the precedent for today. Are you going to be bothered to do that? Are you going to be bothered to accept the first challenge of the day? The first challenge is you waking up, right? You accept that, hopefully, every day. The second challenge is making your bed, you know, and then maybe you'll write a note about yesterday, or you'll write in your journal. Like I've got a journal in my phone, and I've got 385 days covered now. Like that's all of last year, you know. And like, do I do that? That I can't take that for granted, even though it's such a small thing. So yeah, I don't know what it meant to me at the moment. I don't know what I was doing at that moment, but I know definitely that I still think it does mean a lot.
Bro, small things are very big. And I remember when I worked in Milano's, which, for context, is a pizza shop in Beeston where we live. It's my first job at 16 years old. And I remember I was working with a friend, Leo, and this ain't a call out or anything, but I remember I would always take a lot of things seriously. I'd take small things seriously. You know, if there was a little bit left of muck on the pan, I'd make sure it's gone. If there was a bit of, like, I don't know, something else that needed cleaning, a bit of dust on the wall, I'd get rid of it. And that made me a good worker. And I remember my mate Leo taking the mick a bit, like, damn, why'd you sweat that sort of small stuff and that sort. And I said to him, Leo, like, this sort of stuff, like, benefits, it gives you a reputation. You know, the pizza shop owner, he sees small things happening like that, small attention to detail, cleaning, and actually caring about it's his business. So if someone cares about that to the same extent he does, he's going to appreciate that. And so when Leo was on, I was telling Leo, like, reputation matters. I think it really does. And what builds into our reputation is what we do, our actions, and the small things do matter. I think a lot of things we see it from a macro perspective, and we talk about big steps. You know, if we go into the sky, if we're looking at the big steps, it's going to look like massive. If we do make the small things that matter, the small steps one at a time, we make a lot of progress. And as well as that, something which isn't similar, but it's on the same sort of notes of like things we do and things we should be doing to make ourselves feel better. This week, I spent a lot more time by myself this week, mainly because my girlfriend was back at home, but it gave me some time to reflect. And I think we need to give ourselves time to reflect, time to think. And sometimes in this busy world that we have, I don't think we do. No, and it's difficult to. I say to myself, I'd love to wake up every morning and do 5 to 15 minutes of just sitting still and reflecting. But you want to get going, you want to get doing stuff. It's interesting, but I think we need to give ourselves time to process and think. And it's almost like today for you. You're hungover and you prepared for that. You knew it's your little cousin's birthday. You knew you weren't particularly going to need to do too much today. So you've had that time to think. But you've enjoyed that today. I know you have. I think giving yourself time to think and process things, it's important, man. So important. And you know, like, you could even say that that's a small thing. My cousin's birthday, like, you know, it's my cousin. You know, it's a bit of a small thing in terms of what I'm doing in the year or whatever. But it means a lot. Do you know what I mean? That sort of like couple of hours with him, and you know, just winding him up because he's wearing a Liverpool shirt, and they lost today, by the way. He's wearing a Liverpool. Why is he wearing a Liverpool top?
I don't know. I bought him a Forest shirt for 80 quid at Christmas. I got his name on the back. I got him everything.
That's a stinker.
He didn't come out of it for 3 days, and then now he's back to Liverpool. So don't buy kids football shirts. It's a joke. But yeah, the small things in life definitely matter, and you know, I think the next few weeks going to be quite challenging, but like you know, just making sure that I do appreciate those small things. Like, you know, listening to music's a big one for me, because listening to music is a small thing because it's so simple. Like literally, you're just putting your headphones on. You know, at the start of the day, you just do it and it's sound. Like I listen to music from morning till night. Like anyone who knows me knows I'll be in the shower listening to music. I'll be singing along, doing whatever else. But that is something I cannot take for granted. Music. That is something.
Bro, music's massive.
Huge. You know, like, and the thing I love about music is I like discovering all the new stuff. You know, like we will share stuff.
Yeah, if we see a banger, it's like, I gotta show you this.
See a banger. Which was the last one that I sent to you? Was it that one by Something Morning? Something what? Shall I have a look?
Have a look. I'm not too sure. I know the last one I sent you, boss, was One Way and G DeMarco. Matt DeMarco. Matt DeMarco? Is it Matt DeMarco?
Matt DeMarco. Which one?
Matt DeMarco. It's hard to think it's not Matt DeMarco anymore.
Which one?
Something DeMarco, isn't it?
No, it is Matt DeMarco. I thought you were saying a certain song.
No, Matt DeMarco. And One Way and G, it's got 199 songs on it.
Are you sure it's not a playlist?
No, I promise you, it's an actual album.
So the one that I sent to Daniel, I'm getting there, I promise. I've added so many songs in this week. It is insane. It's called When the Morning Comes by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Like,
I don't think that one hit for me.
Really?
I would have saved it to my playlist if it did. Yeah.
You didn't like it?
But that's the thing, you know. If you like a song, we talk about small things matter. If you like a song, send it to your mate. Now, there's something I wanted to speak to you about, brother.
Okay.
And my mum mentioned it to me once. Yeah. And you know, often we go about our day and we're in our own head. Of course you are. You're not in anyone else's, are you? If we had that ability, I'd love it. I'd love to be able to see what's going on in there, boss. But
I don't think so, man.
We feel very significant to ourselves because we are us. But my mum said she heard something once, and it was almost that idea of making ourselves insignificant. If you look at the world around us, you look at a big mountain, right? We're insignificant to that mountain. That mountain don't care about us. If we're climbing that mountain, we're so happy we're on top of it. That mountain don't give a crap that we're on top of it. It's just, get off me. You know what I mean? Like that, we're insignificant. And almost when you give yourself that perspective of being insignificant to everything, it can relax you sometimes, and it can make you de-stress because all this stuff's going on, but I'm not as significant to it as I think, but I think there's a balance, because if you are telling yourself you're insignificant, you're not, because you are somebody. And that's where I think I find it so fascinating in life, like this balance and, you know, certain perspectives. It's you have a lot of people that go down one route or the other. I always find like a mix of something.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, like an occasion, I don't know, you go to a family party,
yeah,
and there's loads of people there and you're a bit nervous. Like, oh, it's a big event, I'm going to have to talk to people. Realistically, that event, you're insignificant to that event. It's probably someone else's engagement party. That event don't care about you, but you care about that event, you care about who you're going to be speaking to. So in that sort of sense, not letting the occasion get into you and feeling like you're insignificant, not feeling like you're insignificant, but telling yourself you actually are. And it brings you, it humbles you, it grounds you. In a way that's it in one sentence, it grounds you.
Yeah.
And I think, what do you think of that sort of perspective of, you know, trying to sometimes think to yourself, I'm actually insignificant to this. I don't need to care as much as I do about this. But also having that balance of you are somebody and not making yourself feel insignificant. I feel it's on a continuum and it's good to be bang in the middle of it. I may have just been waffling.
No, I think with the insignificant sort of scale, I almost think that you should be careful how you view it, because I do this. I definitely do this whenever I think about anything. Sometimes I'll make a decision about something, or I'll be like, God, I wonder what someone thinks of me. And then I go, whoa, mate, I'm just a thing on a rock in this weird, whatever this is.
You always see that classic video.
Yeah, there's that video.
Zooming out and it's the world, yeah.
And then it's like Upside Down by Jack Johnson or like as the song. And you're just like, but I don't really matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do matter. I don't mean like that. But I mean like, in terms of what you are to the universe, you are like just a speck. Like does it really matter? Like, does it really matter what you're thinking? I think, no, it doesn't. But then at the same time, that feeling of being like, whoa. If you keep zooming out, like that just freaks me out completely. Not just on like an actual space and like a weird like level, but in terms of like actual, damn, I am just a speck. Then you almost feel like, well, what's the purpose? You know, what is my sort of purpose? I want to be significant because I do want to be significant. I want to be significant in people's lives. I want to be significant in my career. I want to have a significant impact on the most people I can. And I want it to mean something. Like, I want to have an impact on someone, and for them to come back later in life, later in the week, later in the day, 2 minutes later, and be like, I like what you just did there. You know what I mean? Like, when we finish this podcast, I like the fact that you've had a nice impact on me because I've enjoyed the chat, you know, and I want you to leave listening to this podcast and be thinking, yeah, these guys have had a good impact on me. So it's important to feel insignificant sometimes to cure that sort of anxiety. But, you know, if you do want to feel significant, like, go for it. Like, don't you know, I know what you're saying, but like,
that's what I mean by that sort of balance. And I saw a video of someone speaking to Gary Vee once and saying, I don't feel like I'm somebody yet. But you are somebody, no matter what. I think we do take for granted the fact we're alive, and I try my best to do that every day. Just understand that I'm alive and breathing. It's the most basic level. We're at such a privilege to be alive. I just want to be happy to be alive, man. And sometimes things may come and go into my life which don't make me feel like that, but it's kind of keeping that on a consistent level. And I remember you sent me something once. It was Matthew McConaughey. I know you love a bit of Matthew McConaughey.
Man.
And he was talking about success, and he was talking about defining your mountain. You know, we all talk about, I want to be successful, but what does that mean to you? And it links to our idea of, you know, your why and what's your reason why, like we spoke about before. You know, to you, what's your mountain? What does success mean to Jamie Martin?
And that's also before I asked, like, you know, answer that. That's what making it is. What's making it to you? Do you know what is that? Success to me would be, in all honesty, I'm being completely honest here, I would love to be able to travel consistently, like, and take my family with me. I'd like to take my friends on trips. I love, whenever I get the opportunity to take my trip somewhere, like this year abroad, I could not do it on my own. I have to recruit people on to come and do it. It's sick, you know. I want people to experience that with me. That gives me joy. So traveling, I'd love to be able to do gardening, like, for the rest. I'd love to be able to do at least one shift a week, you know, doing gardening just for the rest of my time. Like,
really?
Yeah, I'd do it. I said to my boss, I'm like, hey, if I was like a millionaire, or like or even in a position where I just thought I don't have to work, I want to do a couple of days in the garden each week.
To ground yourself, or just because you enjoy it?
To ground myself, and because I actually enjoy it. You know, like this week Wednesday morning, I really wasn't feeling it. Wednesday morning, I was like, I don't want to wake up. Like, I got myself a taxi to Sainsbury's in Beeston because I just could not be bothered to walk. And I'm like, I don't want to do today. And then as the day went on, I was mowing lawns and I had my tunes on. And I'm like, you know what? This is actually quite nice. This is humbling. I'm not thinking about anything else other than this lawn being absolutely perfect. So that thing I've got a deadline on. Okay? You know, that thing I'm worrying about for this weekend. All right? That's fine. The money that I need to save up. Fine. Okay? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? What matters is in the moment, I want that lawn to be perfect. So, travelling, gardening, I'd like a decent amount of money. I'm not going to like say that because it's important. Money is security. Do you know what I mean? And I want that for me, and I want that for my family. So, and then football. I want to be able to do football commentating, coaching. I'd love to do it all. I'd love to do all of it. I want to write about football. I want to talk about football. I want to do football. I want to play. So I'm quite simple. I just want nature, bit of travelling, bit of football, a little bit of money, and that's me. Do you know what I mean? That is me, to be honest. So, but what about you? What is your idea of success?
I think my mountain, I think linking to my why, and I think a big thing I embody and something I'll never take for granted and something I always want to push to do is I want to have impact on people. Like, I look after myself, and I know I've got myself, and I always say that to myself sometimes. I say, at the end of the day, if no one's got me, which I know they do, I've got brothers like you and, you know, family around me, I know I've got myself, no matter what. And for anyone listening, you've always got yourself. Always. No matter what. Who knows everything about you? You. You know, who knows you
pretty much nearly everything about me, so, yeah.
Who knows you the most, and it's you.
Yeah.
You know, and I know I've got myself, so I want to then help other people feel that way. I want to help other people thrive. I want to have an impact on people where, not in an egotistical way, if I'm surrounded with people, I want to be able to, be somebody for someone who they're happy to be around me, and I'm making that impact on them, and I'm giving joy into their day. It's a big thing for me. So that's almost at the top of my mountain. But in terms of my actual assets and career and, my personal mountain, I would love to work at a professional football club as a sports psychologist. I would love this podcast to thrive. I would love this to be, even if it never grew to major extents, I would love to consistently do this for the rest of our lives. I think it would be amazing, especially the idea of making it. Yeah. Imagine if we had this podcast from now and we were doing it when we were old farts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Just like your Guardian, I'd love to just carry this on, and I don't think there's anything stopping us from doing that.
No.
I'd love to be able to give back to my parents and those that supported me in my journey. I'd love to do that, and that comes through money, obviously, and it doesn't just come through money, of course. Like being a good person and being
it's a big part of it.
Being that a big part of it.
Sorry,
being that person who your mum would want you to be. I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
And Kobe spoke about it on our Making It moments. Being that person who your 12-year-old self would want you to be. I want to be that person, but yeah, I want to work professionally as a sports psychologist, potentially build a business around that, do this podcast, and I look forward to seeing where people go, man. But that's my mountain, and I look forward to seeing other people on their mountains, and it always fascinates me, man. Like people around you. I'd love to know where my brother's going to end up. I'd love to know where a couple of people are going to end up. Even people who I may not necessarily agree with what they're doing, where are they going to end up? Like I love it. I'm invested in life, bro, and I'm so happy to be here and fueled by gratitude, brother. That's the biggest one, and I want to always care, and I want to always wake up and be like, I'm alive, man, and I'm happy for that. And sometimes there's going to be things knocking me, but I want to talk to people, and I want that to help me. And bro, I want to embody that in my life, brother.
I think the thing that you said there about like talking to people, it's so important. I think there's things that we all have in our lives where you go, God, if I'd just spoken to someone, it might have been a little bit easier for me, like dealing with something.
Because you don't want to be lonely, man.
No, you don't want to be lonely. I'm not going to say what it is, but I would say there's been things recently where I've been feeling like I've been dealing with them on my own for a few years, and it's like, if I just spoke to someone, maybe I didn't want to if I'd be uncomfortable, but maybe if I had just spoken to someone, it would make my life easier, because dealing with stuff on your own, like I said to my stepdad, I'm sorry I'm going to swear here, but it's shit. It is the worst thing. It is dealing with something on your own that is uncomfortable is the worst thing.
Is there anything which you have to deal with on your own? Like,
yeah. Because,
talking to a support system, I will never fault that. I'm one of those people who maybe does it too much. If I feel something, I say it.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not saying there is, I know you're saying there is, but is there anything which you do have to keep to yourself?
Well, like my plans for the sort of day, how am I going to attack the day? That's my own personal thing. So I think like when you ask me what I'm going to do today, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do today. But in terms of like the way I approach and strategize the day and like what I'm doing in the future, I want to keep that personal to me, because I want to kind of I'm trying to word it properly, but like I want to keep my strategy of how I live my life to me, because I want to kind of think about things like how do I grow as a person, but I want that sort of growth to be only seen by me. So the things that I'm strategizing, the things that I'm planning, I want to see it all happening in front of me, but I only want to be the one thinking about it.
But why?
Because then I can measure, put like in my own mind, how am I doing?
What's the effect if someone knew that though?
Because then I almost feel like, well, I'm living by their measurement. So if they know my strategy, if they know what I'm going to do in the day, if they know everything that they're going to have a judgment, and I will then be like, oh, I've got to live by their judgment now, because I'm thinking what they think about me. Do you know what I mean? And it's something I don't really particularly like about myself, is the fact that, like yesterday, someone made a comment about my forest shirt. I went and changed it. I went and got a different one, put a different one on to go to the pub, and I'm like, why did I do that? Because I like that shirt. But someone made a comment about it, and I'm like, oh, I'm a bit nervous now. Didn't like. Why? Do you know what I mean? Why do I do that?
It's a big thing, bro. The fear of judgment, and we do, as much as we say, I don't care what other people think. We do care, and you kind of have to. What other people think of you? If you thought bad of me, bro, I'd want to know.
Yeah.
Like, what other people think of you is important. it's obviously important at times when you're doing something, say like this, having the balls to do a podcast. It's like that's when you shouldn't care about someone saying don't do it. There's certain aspects where you shouldn't care, but what people think is important. How you present yourself is important. And I get what you're saying, but in a way, what you said there kind of shows like there's never anything really you can't tell someone, because what you're saying there, it wasn't particularly deep. Like your strategy of how you're going to go about life, it wasn't dark or deep. It does show like no matter really what's going on, talk to someone about it. If it's bugging you, like your strategy doesn't necessarily bug you. I know what you're saying. Your strategy is a strategy, and I completely understand it because it's your it's your life tactic in a way. You don't need to tell someone else that. But when it comes to low moments and feeling low about something, or something that hits you deep and it gets you down every day, I don't think there's anything which you couldn't tell someone, and you won't feel better.
Yeah.
Unless you told the wrong person, but that's where we have to pick accurately. Yeah,
I was going to say one thing that I've always been told by my teachers throughout school, but the most important thing I was ever told, is by a teacher called Miss Beard, right? Miss Beard.
Miss Beard.
Miss Beard. I was in primary school, infant school actually, and she said to my mum, "Pick your friends wisely." That's what she said to me, because she saw that I was at that time. We're only kids, we're only young, but she could, as a teacher, see what sort of routes people are going to take, and she saw me with these kind of kids, and she thought, no, that's not what he's like. Pick your friends wisely, and that for me has resonated and stuck throughout my life. But going back to the judgment part, the fear of judgment, can I just say I do not fear any judgment of anyone on TikTok? So thank you for the comments, because I think they're funny, because they keep saying, God, anyone can just get podcast equipment. They can. Do it yourself. Listen, I would have a listen to your podcast if you get some equipment, but you don't have the balls to do it. And I love, and I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, but I love doing podcasts, and it's something that I've done for a long time. But this one is so refreshing, because I feel like everything I've done this week, like painting, like gardening, like work, like seeing you, going on the night out, I wanted to tell you about that. That's what I've been wanting to tell you anyway, because, and I'm obviously not going to tell everything, but I tell you now. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you about my week now, and it's real and it's raw, and it's like, I can get that off my chest, how I'm feeling off my chest. And I want this to be a sort of, all right, it's a bit of a therapy session in a way, but it's also about what we're doing to make ourselves grow as people. And I suppose actually, as you've actually said throughout, in a way, I'm almost just getting what's in my mind and telling you about it, and just encouraging other people to do the same.
Yeah, and I think this podcast gives us both time to reflect. And like I said at the start, give yourself time to think, give yourself time to reflect. Naturally, this is 30 to 45 minutes a week. Me and you get to reflect on things. I'm grateful for that, Murray, and I know you are. And you've got to look back. You've got to look back to where you started. I've been telling a couple of people lately about my coaching, because it's the end of the season really now, and there's only like 3 training sessions left. And on Tuesday night I went, and a lot more people turned up than expected from various teams at the uni. And I had a plan, because I thought I was just going to be with my team. There was a couple of other coaches there, and we ended up having to just scrap the plans and just do a round robin, a big tournament. And I'm organising the scores, I'm organising the games, and we're talking about maybe 40 lads. And to begin with, I was nervous about getting to know just my team. And now I'm expressing and talking to 40 lads about the results of the tournament and the round robin, and joking about the winner gets a can of beans. Do you know what I mean? It's like, to look back at when my mentor Stephen first put me on the spot in front of my team and went, Dan's got something to say now. And I just went, boys, let's get a win tomorrow, with a big grin on my face. But progressing through the season, I could then talk tactics, I could talk about individuals, I could talk about what we're going to do to win, or what we're going to do if things don't go right. Like, you've got to look back and reflect on those moments. I was just thinking while we were talking, I've done 3 podcasts this week. I did ours on Monday, I did the guests on Friday, on Wednesday, and I'm doing this on Sunday. I've done 3 podcasts this week. Yeah. To begin with, for the listeners, if you go back and watch the first couple of minutes of that first podcast, you'll see it's come a long way from there. And I'm not bigging myself up or anything, but like, you've got to look back at yourself and look back at, we kind of get taken by life, and we get swept by life, because things move so fast. But if you take a couple minutes to just look back and go, where was I a few months ago? You go, wow, come a long way.
Yeah. 4 months into this podcast, which is mad to say, because so much has happened in that space of time, and actually the next 2 months are going to be even more crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously I'm moving away in June, and and you're kind of coming home from uni and you got exams and stuff as well.
Got a marathon end of the month.
You got the marathon at the end of the month as well. So
donate to that. Our links in our Instagram bio.
Yeah, but chuck it in the bio.
Is there?
Is it already there?
Yeah.
It's already there. But yeah, donate because it's good.
Donate because it's good.
Yeah, there you go. So if you ever need any marketing or anything like that, just buy it because it's good. That's all I'm saying.
What good means is it's for scleroderma and Raynaud's disease, and that's the good cause, man. So go donate if you got the funds.
Because it's good. Well, not the disease. Yeah, obviously not that, but donate because the cause is good. Yeah. It's good. It's good. Anyway. How do you deal with a hangover, Dan?
Interesting. I mean, hangovers aren't necessarily things I get in my life as much these days because I haven't been drinking a lot lately. I'm not trying to act like sober Sally, and I'm annoyed that I just said sober Sally because I do like sobriety and I really enjoy being sober. And I've almost been in two minds of drinking lately because part of me says I want to be sober for the rest of my life because I feel a lot better, and part of me goes I'm not ready to do that because there are times where I want to have a do. Like your work do before we go Aussie, I know I'm going to want to drink. It's almost like I know I'd enjoy it more, but I also know I'd also enjoy it anyway. So you're hearing right now my two minds about drinking. But when I'm hungover, I like to take it steady in the morning. Get myself I like to take things slow, ease into the day. It's always a good day when it's sunny and you're hungover. And funny enough, I don't know why, but every time I am hungover, it tends to be sunny. So taking the sun a bit, have some brekkie. And often I end up journaling a bit when I'm hungover. I end up sitting down and just reflecting for a bit. I think last time I was hungover, I posted on my story just me sat thinking, listening to a tune. But when I'm hungover, take things steady, and it always feels like a slow day just to reflect. That word again. Have some water, maybe some electrolytes. But there are rough moments. And I'm sure when we've been doing this pod, you've been fluctuating up and down. It's quite heavy doing a podcast while hungover. But I think just taking things slow. And I was speaking to my good friend John the other day, and not relating to a hangover, but relating to my current life right now. I have been taking things a lot slower, but not to the point where I'm being lazy or not doing the work, but doing the work in a productive way, in a good way, and executed in the right way, in a good time, not rushing it, taking my time with things and doing it properly and being grateful and reflecting on things. But talking about dealing with a hangover, bro, how you dealt with a hangover today?
Football. It was nice to be out in the sun for a bit. I mean, I've just sweated it all out, I think. But showers, and I'm going to make a music recommendation to you right now. Julio Iglesias.
Ooh, it's a new one.
So good. Just it's Spanish, but it's just so good, proper 90s. Or maybe it's earlier than that. I don't know. But I don't know. Whenever it's from, shower, Julio Iglesias, and a nice cold glass of water. I think I've drank so much water today. I don't know what really kind of wrecked me last night, but it was the same thing as when I went to see Dan up in Newcastle. Just double parking it. I mean, just two drinks at once, and I wasn't really feeling it. At the start of the night, I was moaning a little bit because it's this is really, really poor. There's no one here. It's a bit rubbish. I want to go home. And they were all like, just shut up and just enjoy it. Just get yourself a better drink. So I got a vodka Red Bull. It just sent me mental. But the reason I asked about how do you cure what do you do when you have a hangover is because I do think that the hangover can sort of represent a lot of things. What do you do when the energy's took away from you? You're feeling a bit crap. And you had a really good night last night, but you're not feeling so great now. What is your sort of response mechanism? What is your, not fight or flight, because it isn't that serious, but what is that response mechanism? And now I know. Obviously, you've talked about the sobriety thing and stuff like that, but I know what you like to do when trying to cure that hangover. So, if you're in a position where you feel like crap in the morning, can you apply that same sort of logic?
Yeah, I do think it's different though.
It is different.
Because I think when you're hungover, I think your body's rough and it's tough to really get along with.
It's an actual physical thing.
In terms of when you're on those days, I know what you're doing. I get it, bro. Applying the hangover, applying a day where it's tough, and what are you going to do to get through this day? Someone said to me, it was Kobe. Kobe said to me sometimes it is just about getting through to the end of the day. And we take that as a privilege, but it's a big thing just getting to the end of the day sometimes.
It's hard.
And on those low days, we touched on it already, talking to someone. I think just asking yourself, okay, let's just 1 minute. What's up? Process what you're thinking. Okay, I'm a bit upset about what happened last night. I had an argument with my girlfriend. Okay, all right. Okay, what are we gonna do about that? It's like you in the airport. Missed my flight. Okay, but what do we do now?
Don't write me down.
You know, what do we do now?
Yeah. But that for me is the most important question that I. In fact, you know what? That is up there with the most important questions that I've ever asked myself in my life. When I first went to go and play football at Dunkirk, I'm not good enough. So what do I do now? Okay, go and join another team. Not good enough for them. What do I do now? Okay, go to another team. What do I do now? You know, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, when I missed the flight, what the hell do I do now? I mean, I'm fuming. I'm like, hungover then as well. It's been a bad couple of Sundays, to be honest. But you know, like, what do I do now? I feel like that Dan, for me, is the most incredible question, because that for me determines what you are as a person. What do I do now? You know, if you're one of those people where if you're in a forest and you get lost, you just go, chuck your tools on the ground and you just go, oh, we're buggered here, aren't we? What are we going to do? We're in a forest, we're lost, there's scorpions, there's bears, there's everything. It's just like, oh, what do I do now?
It's big.
That's huge.
And it ties into what's next.
Yes.
And as going into sports psychology, that's a big thing. As an athlete, what's next? You know, you make a mistake, what's next? Anis Postecoglou spoke about it. I'm glad I pronounced that name right. And it's a big thing. What do you do now? And the great thing about that, bro, is it brings you down into the present moment. Nothing else matters apart from what am I going to do now?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I'm on a busy shift at work. What am I going to do now to make me feel better? Get a brew.
Well, like Sam, that's going to be you tomorrow. By the way, Dan's back at work now. Dan's back at the pub.
Yeah,
working.
I love it, man, because I know it's going to be working with Sam in it.
Yeah.
I love those shifts, bro. I love them.
Well, I was painting for Sam's mum. That's who I was painting for on the Tuesday and the Friday. And I thought, I wonder how similar they are. Do you know, because obviously your dad is your dad, but I wouldn't say you guys are like...
And your uncle is your uncle.
yeah, all right, Dad. But you know what I mean? But I wouldn't say you and your dad are like crazy similar. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd say there's similarities, obviously, because you're his dad. You're his son. The
hangover's getting to him.
It is getting to me a little bit. But you know Sam's mum, every half an hour she must come out and ask if I want another brew.
That's joke.
She loves a brew. And you know, that actually warmed my heart a bit this week. I'm going to say something that warmed my heart, and I want you to say something as well, if you've got something. But we were just sat outside and she brought me out a sandwich, and I just thought, I am here painting because I want to earn some money. Do you know what I mean? But actually, it's bigger than that. Like, this is someone that, unfortunately, she lost her husband last year. And, you know, she had a really tough time. I thought, this means a lot to her. You know, even me just coming around and painting her fence, like, that means a lot to her, because that's her time to chat to someone. And when I go and do gardening for people that, and it's usually widows, unfortunately, and you know, widowed people, you kind of feel, wow, like, that sometimes they're paying for gardening and they just want to come and chat with you for 20 minutes while you're working. Do you know what I mean? That's a big thing. So, you know, when you do see like an older person and they want to just have a quick chat with you at the shop, or they want to make a little joke, embrace that. You know, that's something for me that when I was just sat just chatting to her, I thought, this is nice. Do you know what I mean? This is, the sun's there, I've got a bit of music on, and we're just having a chat, and maybe she doesn't get a lot of that, you know. And I would hope that when I'm older, God forbid I'm ever in a similar situation, obviously, but I'd hope that someone gives their time to talk to me. You know, just give me a couple of minutes just to chat, you know.
Yeah, it's big, man. In terms of what warmed my heart, one thing that was a great gesture is Nathan on the team that I coached donated £20 to the marathon charity.
Oh, good lad.
So that warmed my heart. But another thing, and it's not really something warmed my heart, but something that touched me, I guess. But kind of had a couple of conversations with people lately who I know well, and they've had a few losses in their life lately.
In terms of like people,
right? And it's not something that warmed my heart, obviously, but it's something which what's the phrase for it? It's almost like the opposite. It warmed your heart. It kind of took you back. It touched you, like
right.
You know where I'm coming from.
Saying, yeah.
It makes you kind of reflect and go, we're good. Like, look around you. Your family's good. You're good today. You're healthy. You're good.
You're lucky.
Like, you're lucky. And don't take that for granted, because there's people out there who may have recently had a loss. Or there's people out there who've had a big loss in their life.
Like, for me, like, the biggest loss in my life, and I think I would say that in my young life, as I said last week, like, I think I've had a lot of loss. But my biggest is my granddad, because obviously he owned this. This was his everything. And we were coming back off a holiday from Portinax in Ibiza. No, it was Escanor in Ibiza. And it wasn't like a partying holiday or anything like that.
Come on, Granddad!
Inappropriate. So what I'm about to tell you next is not very nice. But went with my little brother, and my granddad throughout the week wasn't eating properly. And we were like, that's weird, because, you know, he's someone that he liked his food, and he was obviously a chef, and it was his thing. And they just said basically he's got like a year to live, and it's just like...
On the holiday?
Well, when we came back. Like Greg, I've never seen... So my stepdad, I've never seen Greg be like this. But he couldn't hold in the tears. He was like, I need to go and have a chat with you. So I'm like, go upstairs, and he, you know, he sits down and he basically says, like, we've got a year with him, so we've got to make the most of it. And I was like... You know, nothing ever prepares you for someone to put a clock on someone's life. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine if we had, like that film with Justin Timberlake. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called In Time, but it serves a deep purpose, because all right, it's just a cheesy film with Justin Timberlake in it. It's a great film, watch it. But everyone's got time on their arm, and you pay for things with it, yeah. And it's yeah. But could you imagine if one day, like, a doctor's just gone, that's how much time you got left, and even then, you can lose it altogether in one.
Imagine if you treated every day like that.
Imagine if you treated every day like that. So when, you know, I would do anything, honestly anything, to have my granddad back now, because Forest beat Man United twice this season. He's a big Man United fan, so I'd have loved for him to have seen that. But on a serious note, like, I always wanted to make him proud, because he's someone that was successful, and the things he set out to do in his life, like he was a chemist and then went into the pub trade and built multiple pubs and did well for himself, and he made my nanny happy. They had a lovely house, you know, they had a dog at one point, and do you know, like, I would love nothing more to have just made him proud, and to see him. And do you know, I've had dreams. This is another thing about dreams, and I don't want to like drag on too long about it, but I've had dreams where he's talking to me. I've been there, and I've sat down with him in this building, and this is why I sort of don't believe that life is sort of real at times, because I go, well, how have I had that conversation with him? Do you know what I mean? Like, I was sitting there talking to him. But
yeah, I think, not to cut you off or anything.
No.
But I think a big thing, and I think the beautiful thing about what you just said there, is we look around us right now.
Yeah.
This was your granddad.
Yeah, this is his creation.
Pub.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're now living in the pub. You know, it's like that you embody your granddad almost every day by just being here. It's almost like his presence is still here, and the fact it comes through your dreams is amazing. And it's just like the beauty, and I don't want to say the beauty of losing people, because losing people is very, very tough, but is there always beauty in something? I believe so. I don't want to be insensitive, but I do believe so.
I think so, yeah.
And I think you can embody someone who you've lost, and it adds another layer to you. You know, I embody my granddad as well, who passed away 7 years ago, and it's like being able to embody someone. It's a blessing, and it's, you wish you could have a chat with them again, and it's you really wish you could. And like you say, you do anything to be able to have a chat. But I really think the beauty of losing someone is you can embody them, and if you have lost someone, you know, embody that person and bring that into your own life. And be grateful for the fact you're here. You know, it's interesting, death. I don't think about it often, but I do think about the fact that one time we're not going to be here. And bro, I just think we have to be grateful, and you have to live each day as a blessing, and embody those people you lost, and embody who you really want to be, because one day you won't get a chance to.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, just hug your grandparents, man. You know, if you've got the privilege, just do it. And imagine someone slaps that clock on you, man. Just imagine that, because it breaks your heart. Because that's like a, you know, tick, 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 you know. And I think I was in school when I got the phone call that I was in Mr. Bryant's class.
Worst class of the year, man, for that.
Mr. Bryant was this teacher who was just super funny, but like completely insensitive to any situation. So I've just been told that my granddad like died over the phone, and I'm like streaming. I can't deal with it. I'm just bawling out. But I said I want to stay, because I don't want to go home and just be thinking about it. I just want to stay and just get the day over with. And I sit there, and the first thing he does is he starts taking the mick out of me. And I'm
but not out of that, right?
But no, not out of that. But
he doesn't know what's happened there.
He's like, what's up with you? Yeah. You know, doing this. And I'm like, oh, God, really now? But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Nothing prepares you for these things, but that at least made me laugh a little bit. Mr. Bryant, what a guy! Shout out to Paul. But yeah, I wanted to kind of end it with some sort of like deeper note, because that's something I think about it a lot, and I get these dreams a lot. So you can say it's rubbish, you can say I'm lying, you can say what you want, but I saw what I saw in those dreams, and I 100% know that I was sat just chatting with him. Do you know what I mean? Just chatting with him about anything. But when people say things about here, good or bad, that's personal to me. This place is personal to me. This is everything. This is like my family. Do you know what I mean? This is what this is. So, yeah, I think if something's personal to you, you've got to protect it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah,
man,
that's what I'm going to say.
I completely agree, bro. I think that was a nice way to end things. I think embody your character and embody those people who you've lost and embody their character in your life. It's powerful.
Yeah, always. And sorry, I don't want to make it too deep. I don't want to make it too deep because we've had a really good episode, I think. But it's been nice to chat. It's been nice to have you back in person, and it's nice to be back in the function room here doing a podcast. It's like a makeshift studio. I wish I could show you the tripod that the phone's on. The laptop's there. So, yeah, I've enjoyed that, brother.
That was good, brother, man. Oh, bro.
Come on.
Good to be back, guys.
Listen, that was episode 15 of the Making It podcast. Make sure you stream other episodes as well and catch up with us on social media via at Making